Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jade. It is great to have you here. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to talk about some romance books to read for Valentine's Day, around Valentine's Day, or just in general. I have my pink shirt on. I was wearing gray, but then I was like, wait a second, we're doing a Valentine's Day video. Like, we have to wear pink. And so I have my pink shirt on. My romance shelf behind me has some holes in it because I took more than a couple of books off of it to talk about in today's video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So this list is really in no particular order. I just literally had the list in my head, picked out the books that I wanted to talk about today. And so we're going to start with the one that was on the top of the stack, which is Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Cincotti. I don't know how to say that, but this is the cover. As you can see, it is very pink, very cute, very romantic, very Valentine's Day. So this book follows the main character. Her name is Daniela. She is like a rom-com girly since she was little, and since she's been watching rom-coms, she has wanted to find that love that was in movies, and she found that love in her best friend Levi. Sorry for the hair change. My dogs started acting up, so I had to go and deal with that. But let's continue talking about Picking Daisies on Sundays. She wants to find the love that she sees in movies, and she finds that in her best friend Levi, but everything falls apart whenever Levi does not share the same feelings for her that she shares for him. And so 4 years go by, she sees him at a bar, and she is just like struck with the love that she had for him. So when they talk to each other, he asks her to be his fake girlfriend for his sister's wedding. And even though she knows that this is a recipe for disaster because she's literally in love with this man, she's like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So throughout the whole fake dating scheme, like, there's old feelings arising for her. There's like these stolen glances happening, all these different things, and her confidence starts dropping a bit because this man rejected her, and she is starting to realize that she still loves him, but 4 years ago he did not love her. And so now she's thinking that she made a mistake because, I mean, she just knows she's not going to come out of this the other side happy with her heart intact. And so she's thinking, maybe this was a mistake and maybe I should have said no to him. And so that's kind of the premise of this book, and it was super cute. It was so cheesy and rom-com-y. So if you're going to this book thinking like it's gonna have like profound writing and be just really, it's a literary book, this book is really cheesy. The characters are cheesy, the storyline is cheesy. I mean, does this not look cheesy to you? But I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. The next book I have is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is my favorite Emily Henry book, which I think it's always so fun seeing what everyone's favorite Emily Henry book is. Like I said, this was my favorite. I also love People We Meet on Vacation. So drop in the comments what is your favorite Emily Henry book, because I'm always so interested to see what are people's favorites. But anyway, this book is about our main character. Her name is Daphne. She's engaged to this man. His name's Peter, and she has always loved the way that Peter has told how they met and how they fell in love and how their love story started. And so she's so in love with this man right up until the point she realizes that Peter, her fiance, is in love with his childhood best friend Petra. And so she's like engaged to this man. She is living with this man. She's in love with this man. They're going to be married. They have a house together. They share everything together. And then he comes down and is like, oh, by the way, I'm breaking off the engagement and I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go have some fun with my childhood bestie. And she is thrown. She is so blindsided. And so now she has no one. She is fiance-less. She is homeless. And so she's like, you know what? Petra was dating this guy, Miles. And I'm sure he is just as thrown as I am. So let me call up Miles and be like, hey, do you need a roommate? And so they really connect with one another because her fiance broke up with her out of nowhere and his girlfriend broke up with him out of nowhere. They're both grieving the love that they had lost, and they're both like now in a bind because their other half has just run away. And so they're now living together, they're roommates, and they really avoid one another until one day they form this friendship and a plan. They decide to make their exes just a little jealous, a little keep them on their feet a bit. They would just hang out and post some pictures, and if it just so happens to look like they're dating one another, why would that be a problem? As the lines start to blur, as they're spending more and more time together because they're now roommates, Daphne is like, there's no way I'm falling in love with my ex-fiance's new girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. like that is just so complicated and messy. That's not what's happening here. So I loved this one. Like I said, it is my favorite Emily Henry book. This just screams romance. It has everything I love in a romance, which is fake dating, forced proximity. I just thought that this was so fun. And also the writing of this, Emily Henry she's such a great writer and knows how to mix romance and literary fiction to make this romance book have substance to it. And so I definitely recommend Emily Henry in general and all of her rom-coms, but this one especially because this one is my favorite, and I hope y'all like this one too. But again, let me know y'all's favorite Emily Henry book. I'm actually really interested to know. Next we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This one I read years ago, maybe when I was in high school, maybe when I was like a sophomore, junior in high school. And this one I kind of don't remember what it's about, but I remember loving it because it's such a fun romance. But this one follows the main character. Her name is Stella. She's trying to find a husband. At least that's what her mom tells her. So she is really struggling to interact with like the male species and with trying to date and everything because she's a data analyst. She's super smart. She's very intelligent, but on top of that, she has Asperger's. And so she just can't find like that vibe with men. And so she hires this male escort to help her get comfortable with the opposite sex and teach her how to be a good girlfriend. And so in comes Michael. He is a little tight on cash, so he decides to make some extra money and help Stella with her problem. But he is actually like falling a little in love with Stella. Like, she has charmed him, and Stella learns that maybe love can defy logic in the end. And so I definitely recommend this, especially around Valentine's Day. This one's a really cute read, really romantic. I can't remember if it's spicy or not. Again, I read this a while ago. I definitely recommend it. Next we have The Bromance Book Club by Alyssa K. Adams. This one was so fun. This one was so fun, you guys. This one follows our main character. His name is Gavin Scott. He's a professional baseball player. Okay, hopefully the interruptions are over. My dad brought me okay, my dad brought me a sonic drink. Hopefully the interruptions are over. Let's continue. So Gavin is, I was gonna say, on the verge of divorcing his wife, but really they're having a divorce. Thea, his wife, has asked him for a divorce, and so now he's moved out. He doesn't see his kids, and he is very depressed about this fact. But when talking about his problems to his best friend, he finds out that there is a secret bromance book club featuring Nashville's alpha top men. And so with the help of their current read, which is like a steamy regent romance, he is slowly learning how to make grand gestures and all these different things in order to make his wife fall in love with him again because he wants her back. And so that's what this book is about. And this one was really cute. I flew through it. It was fast paced. I definitely like felt for Gavin. I really wanted him to have his happy ending. And so that helped me want to figure out how this book was going to be. It's really short, as you can see. It's a little over 300 pages, but I definitely recommend this one. This one's my favorite. I gave this one 5 stars, and I hope that you read this Valentine's Day and you find a new favorite as well. Next, we have When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This one follows our main character. Her name is Amelia, but she's known to Ray Rose to her fans because she's a very famous pop singer. But she ends up getting a little suffocated by that life, and she gets in her car one day and just drives away. And so she drives to Rome, Kentucky, and she breaks down in front of this guy's house. His name is Noah, and so when he goes out there, he finds the pop singer Ray Rose in his front yard with a broken down car, and he decides to help her. And so he lets her stay in his house, in his guest room, until her car is fixed. But as they spend more and more time together, he realizes that there's another side to Ray Rose, or Amelia, than the rest of the world sees. She's very funny, she's goofy, she's loving, but she's also very lonely. And so he starts opening himself up to her, and they start getting close. And so he starts opening himself up to her, and they start getting close, but she's supposed to go on tour here in like a few weeks, and so there's definitely an end date approaching. But as Amelia spends more time with Noah and in the town of Rome, Kentucky, she can't help but start falling in love with Noah, the grumpy tour guide, and just the cozy town in itself. And so this one's really fun. This one is like I said, the first book in the When in Rome series, and then the second book is Practice Makes Perfect, and then Beg, Borrow, Steal, and then the third book just came out, which is called In Your Dreams, and they all feature siblings, Noah's siblings. So When in Rome is Noah, and then Practice Makes Perfect is his sister Annie, and then Beg, Borrow, Steal is his sister Emily, and then In Your Dreams is his sister Madison. So it's an interconnected standalone featuring these 4 siblings, and I definitely recommend the whole series. They're very much fun romance romance books that I definitely recommend that you read around Valentine's Day, which of course I do. That's what the point of this video is about. Next, we have one of my favorite books of all time. This is definitely like one of my top 5-star reads ever, and it's Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I think I've talked about this book on my channel before, but if you don't know what this book is about, it's about our main character. Her name is Brianna Ortiz. She's a doctor, and she is up for this promotion, and it's really kind of the only good thing that's going on for her because her brother needs a kidney transplant and they're having no luck finding one, and she's also just recently divorced. Like, her divorce has just been finalized, so this promotion is really the only good thing happening in her life. But the promotion ends up going to this guy, this new doctor that gets hired on, and his name is Jacob, and he's actually kind of rude. Like, he's not a nice person. But everything changes when Dr. Jacob Maddox sends Brianna a letter, of all things. And the letter kind of shows Brianna that she was kind of wrong about Jacob, because it's a really good letter and it really shows the fact that she was wrong about him maybe all along. And so then they keep exchanging letters back and forth, and that leads to lunch dates. But Jacob ends up helping Brianna with one of his problems. And even though he didn't ask for anything in return, he decides that she can help him out with something, and that's kind of the gist of this book and where this one takes off. I will say one of the tropes is fake dating, so if you like that, I definitely recommend this one. But this one's one of my favorites. That is one of my favorite tropes, and so I fell in love with this book because of that. But also the anxiety representation in this book that Jacob has, I felt like it was definitely how my anxiety is and what I feel like. And so I was able to connect with Jacob so much, and I saw myself in him a lot within this book. And so that's one of the main reasons why I loved it. But I definitely recommend this one because even though it is a romance book, it also has some emotional topics within it. And I definitely love when my romance books also kind of have that mix within them, so I definitely recommend this one as well. Next, we have First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. This is the first book in the I don't know what the series is called, and I don't know if it's just a duology or if there are going to be more. I know the next one is coming out here sometime in February, and I'll put a picture of it right here because I don't remember the title. But it's the second one in this interconnected standalone series that we have going on. But this one is about our main character. His name is Aiden. He has a big secret that he's keeping, and that is that he has fallen out of love with love, which is very ironic because he is the host of Baltimore's romance hotline, and so obviously that is a bit of a problem. But one night when he's on the air, this young girl calls into the station asking for dating advice for her mom, and it goes viral. And so it ends up thrusting Aiden and then his hotline show Heartstrings into the limelight, and then that's where our female main character comes in. Her name is Lucy. She is the mother of the little girl that calls into the hotline, and honestly, like, she's a little surprised and a little hurt that her daughter called into the hotline because she thought she was doing okay. And so then it starts leading to the question, like, well, am I really happy? Like, if my daughter sees that I'm not happy and I think I am I really? And so then she's like, well, maybe this isn't a bad thing. And so then she goes onto the show because they try to find a boyfriend for her, and like she kind of goes on all these dates because of the show, and like they're filming it for the show. But as she spends more and more time with Aiden, she's like, well, and so now she has a decision to make. Where does she want to go with all these dates with the radio and everything, or does she want to like have and take a chance with the guy wearing the headphones sitting next to her in the booth, in the like recording booth? So that's what this one's about. This one's really fun. I think this cover is stunning. I absolutely love this cover, but this one was pretty good. I definitely recommend it for around Valentine's Day as well to get you in like that romance mood. But this is another book that I recommend. And the next we have, really I want to recommend this whole author, but we have Sounds Like Love and then The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I also love The Dead Romantics by her, but it's set around fall, so I don't know, you could read that if you want. But I love Ashley Poston. I think I've talked about her on my channel before. She writes the best, in my opinion, magical realism romances. And so this one follows this girl. Her name is Clementine. She moves into her late aunt's apartment and finds like a strange man in the kitchen, and she freaks out. But as she like kind of gets to know him, she realizes that this is the type of man that she could definitely see herself falling in love with. But the only problem is that he is living 7 years in the past, and she is living 7 years in his future. So it turns out when they go into this apartment, he is thrown 7 years in the future and she is thrown 7 years in the past. But if they leave, they're back in their world. And then whenever he leaves the apartment, he is back like in his world 7 years ago. And so there's this big dilemma of how they are going to be together because they you know, like he's 7 years in the past, she's 7 years in his future. It's very complicated, but it works, and I love this one, and I definitely recommend it. And then the next Ashley Poston book that I have for y'all is Sounds Like Love. This one is her latest release, I believe, and she's releasing a new one this year, which I'm so excited. But this one follows Joni. She is a songwriter, but she has kind of hit writer's block, and she cannot write a song to save her life. So she decides to return home to kind of get inspiration and also just hide out from her life of being a songwriter and just be the girl that she was when she was younger, just careless and carefree. But when she gets back to her hometown, she realizes that nothing is the same. Like everything has evolved, and the fact that she has not lived there, been there in a few years, like obviously things are going to change. And so now her dilemma is like, how can she write when like the world, she feels like the world is leaving her behind? But then one day she hears a melody in her head, and it's half formed, it's half there, and with the melody she can hear like this guy's voice. At first she thinks he's like a figment of her imagination, but then the guy shows up in her hometown of Vienna Shores, and she realizes that one, this guy is real, and two, they can hear each other's voices in their heads, and it's only them, like it's no one else. And so then they're set off to find out why they can hear each other's voices in their heads, and also why they are stuck with this melody, because maybe it's not a mistake and maybe it's for a reason. So these are the two Ashley Poston books I definitely recommend for y'all this Valentine's Day. I love Ashley Poston. She's one of my favorite romance authors, and the way that she incorporates the magical realism into her romance books and finds a way to make it work, I definitely recommend her. The last book we have is, what is this? The last book I have to recommend for y'all today is The Love of My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. This cover is also so stunning, but this one follows a recently deceased woman who meets the one in the afterlife waiting room, scoring a second chance at both life and love, but only if she can find him on earth before 10 days are up. And so what ensues is a journey that she takes with her neighbor to find the one in order to continue on living and not actually die permanently. And this one actually took me by surprise. I definitely enjoyed it. It had its flaws, but I thought it was just a fun romance read. And I think that if y'all have read any of these other books and liked them, you would definitely like this one, especially if you love Ashley Poston. This is also magical realism, and so I definitely recommend this one as well. But these are the 10 romance books that I recommend for y'all to read in and around Valentine's Day or just in general. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you on the next one. Bye.